come as well. Coming up this morning, government engaging organized labor and pension fund corporate trustees to explore mutually beneficial options for domestic debt exchange program. That's according to the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. Meanwhile, government reiterates decision to review some of its flagship programs. Also this morning, private health facility operators face an imminent collapse due to unfavorable government policies. Details of these stories and more coming up shortly. Please do stay with us. In our first story, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta says government is still engaging organized labor and pension fund corporate trustees to, in line with a memorandum of understanding, explore mutually beneficial options within the debt sustainability limits. The exemption of pension funds from the domestic debt exchange program remains one key issue that has government on the wrong side of organized labor. Given an update on the economy regarding Ghana's IMF program and the growth agenda, the minister noted, consistent with the MOU signed with organized labor in December 2022 on the exemption of pension funds, they continue to be exempted.
We have given them literally all of the information that is required on the debt sustainability analysis, etc. They've seen what we have done on the domestic front, so that as a good point of our own burden sharing. And I'm sure there's going to be some very hard discussions and negotiations going forward, but I'm confident that we will find a place to land that will be good for everyone. We expect to finalize these negotiations before the first review, which will be in September.
He also reiterated some government flagship programs that would be reviewed.
3FM.
Now, what we intend to have, a thorough review on to determine how best to finance that. I just, I'm very uncomfortable, when there's a denial that there's true poverty and some people need to be supported, so. It just, I know we should make it efficient, we should reform it, but any general sense of dismissiveness and whatever, it's not something that we should countenance as a people, and to give people opportunity to realize who they are. So yes, but we can't waste money in there, and those reforms, hopefully once the studies are done, we'll be able to take action on them.
Well, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is also hopeful that government will conclude negotiations with external creditors before the IMF's first review in September.
We have given them literally all of the information that is required on the debt sustainability analysis, etc. They've seen what we have done on the domestic front, so that as a good point of our own burden sharing. And I'm sure there's going to be some very hard discussions and negotiations going forward, but I'm confident that we will find a place to land that will be good for everyone. We expect to finalize these negotiations before the first review, which will be in September.
Now moving on, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has hit the campaign ground running after filing of his nomination forms last Friday. Right after filing his nomination forms with a mammoth crowd accompanying him, Vice President did not take things for granted. He moved straight into action by starting a tour of the Greater Accra region later in the day, with visits to Nima in Ayawaso West or Ayawaso East and La in the La Dade Kotopong constituencies. Now, the Vice President on Sunday continued the tour of the Greater Accra region to woo delegates ahead of the party's primaries. Now let's do some health stories now. And private health facility operators in the country say that their sector is facing imminent collapse because of unfavorable government policies, the denying of NHIA accreditation for facilities manned by physician assistants and non-payment of claims on regular basis are some of the key challenges confronting the sector. Now leadership wants an urgent attention to these matters to give life to the sector. Private healthcare facilities own the largest number of health facilities across Ghana. Yet, their sector is facing imminent collapse as several facilities have begun to fold up as a result of what they describe as unfavorable policies instituted by government agencies.
The NHIA decided to deny financial assistance accreditation of national health insurance. What it's going to mean is that if you are in my catchment area or catchment area of a physician assistant, you have insurance card, you cannot, if even emergency, access that facility. You are denied of your right of health at that moment. So it is very important that the government, through NHIA, sees to it that that unhealthy directive is withdrawn. If not so, we are leading to a situation whereby no bed syndrome will never be extinct.
And that was Chair of the Central Regional Private Health Facilities Association, Robert Komla Awude, speaking to 3FM News. And he's further noted that human resource remains one of the challenges of members.
We have worked on that up to some level with the government agencies, that just as they provide the human resources, nurses, doctors, and other professionals for the mission hospitals, they should see to the private facilities as well, in same vein. At least, if each facility has 4 of such, it will go a long way. We are not saying the entirety of the human resource should be provided by the government, but a percentage will be provided, because we are also Ghanaians. We are serving Ghana and serving humanity.
Now, the Ghana Navy has taken delivery of 2 new high-speed boundary vessels from the United States of America to help increase maritime security in Ghana's territorial waters. Now, at a brief ceremony at the Takoradi Port, the flag officer commanding the Western Naval Command, Commodore Emmanuel Kwafo, said it would help address challenges in maritime sector. Now, the 2 new vessels, the GNS Afau and GNS Halfasini, are to be stationed at the Tema anchorage to help in patrolling the Gulf of Guinea. This forms part of Ghana's vision towards modernizing the fleet of the Ghana Navy to patrol Ghana's maritime waters. Receiving the vessels at a brief ceremony at the Takoradi Port, Commodore Emmanuel Kwafo thanked the U.S. government for the gesture, saying he believes it will go a long way to help address the challenges confronting the maritime sector.
They are very fast, they're economical, just about 10, 12 people will just man it, and they could be out there for about 3 days. So they are very good additions to our events. We're going to fight pirates, drugs law enforcement, fuel smuggling. We're going to fight fuel smuggling. We're going to protect the environment. Also, if the fishermen go to sea and anyone gets safety of life at sea, they are in distress or something, we will go searching for them with these vessels.
Now, the U.S. Naval Defense Attached Commander Carlton McLean, handing over the vessels, commended Ghana for its significant role in safeguarding the Gulf of Guinea and expressed the hope that the gesture will further complement the efforts.
I would like to present from the United States these vessels for the strengthening of the Ghana regional maritime defense. Ghana is most important, and especially important in regional security for the Gulf of Guinea and for West Africa.
Now, lastly, non-functioning traffic lights at various intersections in the Greater Accra region pose grave danger to motorists and pedestrians. Christian Yale reports on how this phenomenon is increasing the risk of road traffic crashes, creating traffic jams and endangering the lives of people.
When the red, yellow and green colors of the traffic light flicker out, there is chaos. It can be deadly, leaving victims maimed for life. Over the past years, it has become common to see many traffic lights out of order in the capital. It is 5:45 a.m. at the UPSA junction of the Medina-Accra Road. Here, pedestrians cross the road at their own peril. The traffic lights have not been functioning for months. Students and the aged contend with speeding vehicles to cross over.
It's very worrying and a dangerous precedent. We wouldn't wish that has happened, but it has happened. When you get to an intersection that a traffic light is not working, that is where you have to be disciplined enough. Your safety should be paramount to you, and then you should your concentration should be on the road. Tolerate other drivers. It will take discipline for us to manage the situation.
At many busy intersections, drivers from different directions have to negotiate their way through. And in cases where the communication goes wrong, traveling becomes a daring adventure.
And that's how I wrap up the 6 a.m. news here on 3FM 92.7. My name is Judith Tandoh. Do stay tuned. Sunrise continues.